Hey, good morning, guys. It is July 8th, and Chambers is in a famous passage from Joshua 24 today, and it's choose you this day whom you will serve. And it's interesting, we had a conversation yesterday around the table about whether it's possible or not to live a perfect life. And I don't mean in completion, but is it possible to become sinless in this life, on this side of death? Is it possible to get to the point where we submit ourselves so much that we do not commit sin? And there was varying opinions, obviously, because the conversation was a little lengthy. In theory, I guess it makes sense that if we are living by the power of the Spirit, in theory, we can get to the point where we are submitting ourselves daily, even moment by moment, and even accidental sin, things that our flesh leading us into something that is just, unknown sin. It's possible. I just don't see it. I've never seen it. And Paul doesn't seem to talk. He talks more about the other side. Paul does in his epistles. And the reason why I don't see it is I think if someone were to get to the point where they were so submissive to the will of God that they just didn't sin, you would see such a level of discernment, discipline in their lives that it'd be so evident. They wouldn't be a bit overweight. They wouldn't be, their time would be spent perfectly. Like they'd be so in tune with the will of God that nothing they would do would be out of God's character. It would all be good. And maybe I'm wrong. I could be totally wrong. Anyway, all that said, today we're talking about will. The will. And that is the problem with living a perfect life, is that submitting my will to God's is something that's difficult. It's very that's kind of clear at the center of my self love. I love my will. I love holding on to my will. And the Israelites, when Joshua says, "Choose you this day whom ye will serve. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord," they all say, "Oh yeah, we'll serve him. We'll get rid of our old gods. We'll never go back. We're going to serve the one true God." And they say that, and we give them a hard time sometimes. But that generation, for the most part, I think over the next, we want to consolidate down. We say, look, they made a commitment not to serve him, and look right here, they're already. I mean, to serve him completely. Look at it right here. They're already committing idolatry. Well, right here might be a decade later, or 2 decades later, or a generation later, and we give these people a hard time about something that happened in the pages of our books just a couple pages later. And what we don't understand is that these people were faithful. They did submit themselves and say, yes, we'll serve the Lord. And for the most part, they were, for at least for a while, a lot longer than maybe I would have been. But sometimes we're unfair with our criticism of the Israelites, because we can't even last a day, a year, a decade, without taking back what we've given him, which is our will. Here, I want to read a few things from Chambers here. So he says, I cannot give up my will. I must exercise it. Will is something I exercise. I must will to obey, and I must will to receive God's Spirit. This proposition of choose you this day whom you will serve is between you and God, no one else. And that's what he says. It's interesting. That's what Joshua says. He says, "As for me and my house, I'm making a decision. I'm not saying who will we serve. It's who will you serve. I'm going to serve the Lord," is what Joshua says. This is a decision for you, not for us as a collective. You have no business, Chambers says here, to find out where God is leading. The only thing God will explain to you is himself. He doesn't say, "Hey, here's where we're going to go, then we're going to go here." All he says is, "Hey, you're following me. You're following me, and that's enough. That's all you need to know." And I really like the last, I had circled this last year, I guess, when I was reading through this section. Will to be loyal and give other people credit for being loyal too. And so the will to be loyal, submitting my will is, again, I think is at the root of every big decision that we make. It's the root of our decision to get married, at the root of that, and to stay married. It's that submitting my will to my partner, submitting my will, but ultimately submitting my will to God. So anyway, ponder that and let me know if you have any thoughts on living a perfect life, or not living a perfect life, getting to the point where we can live without sin in our lives, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, whatever. Yeah. You guys have an awesome day. I'll see you tomorrow.